Greetings, guys. Now, welcome now to a brand new episode of Redemption the Rod. And I'm your host, MrYazMan300. I'm joining me now for a brand new episode on the one and only Mark Freeman. And we have Andy Mack, and behind him is the lovely Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, it's gonna stroke our man, our fourth guest.
Yeah, we need a Canadian representation. This is a Canadian, supposed to be a Canadian film.
He's the best of Canada. We've just watched the worst of Canada.
I will debate about this because I know Mark might have some thoughts about it. So how are you guys doing today?
All right, not too bad.
Yeah, good. I'd better if I didn't have to watch this, but yeah, all good. I get to make fun of one of Mark's favorite movies and favorite directors, and just.
No, I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite movies. I enjoy the movie, but.
I mean, right. you love Kevin Smith as much as I love this gentleman. So it's.
Yeah.
We'll get to him one day, but for the moment we get.
I already have one movie planned with him. I think he knows what movie.
That's going to be a sad day for me. I'm just going to hide under the desk.
You know what, Mark? For the movie that has his boy, I'll have you on that podcast. Just
what is it?
It's the
Percy Jackson 2. He's in it.
Yeah. He's only in it for like a solid 2 minutes, I think, and he has like one scene. But unfortunately, he's in it, so yeah, we have to acknowledge that.
Or we can do Super because I know James Gunn. That's actually it's got a polarizing response. But I heard people say it's good, and he's in it.
I've never actually seen Super. I've heard good things though.
Yeah, it's a good film.
All right, so for those who don't know, who's listening and watching, this is actually a podcast where we are going to recap now the movie that we saw, and we end it now with scoring the film redeemable or unredeemable. So the movie that today we are talking about is the Kevin Smith new movie and part of his True North trilogy, if not mistaken.
The True North trilogy, yes.
It's called Yoga Hosers. That's the right pronunciation, right?
Hosers.
Yeah.
Because I found out
who's asking for a third. Who wants a third of this trilogy? Just leave. One was too many.
Jaw. It's Jaws on land.
Yeah, we'll take so.
Oh.
So this actually, if not mistaken, is a sequel to Tusk, and because it features some of the characters, most notably the Colleens, who are played by Lily Rose Depp, and who's Johnny Depp's daughter, and Harley Quinn Smith, who's the daughter of Kevin Smith. So many people are related on this film.
Yeah, and Harley and Lily have been best friends since the age of 5.
That's how he secured Johnny Depp, and of course Johnny Depp returns back as the detective, Guy Lapointe.
Guy Lapointe?
The Point.
Yeah, Guy Lapointe. Yeah.
I'm just going to detect Inspector Johnny Depp. That's what I call him.
That works. Yeah. That's so much easier to say.
Of course, and it features also some regular cast you might recognize from other movies. And we got Justin Long as the yoga instructor Yogi Bear, which we'll talk about it later. And we got Austin Butler as Hunter Calloway. Adam Brody, that's actually the drummer, Ichabod. We got Ralph Garman as the scientist Andronix Arcane. Tony Hill as Colleen C's dad, Bob. Natasha Lyonne as Bob's girlfriend. Is she married to Bob or
no?
She's just his girlfriend. Okay. Natasha Lyonne. Also, we had Haley Joel Osment as which apparently I just found out he's actually a real life Nazi and Canadian Nazi. Adrian Arcan. And we got Vanessa.
For a second, I thought you meant Haley Joel Osment as a real life Nazi. I'm like,
I missed that news.
The character he's playing, I found out he's a real life Nazi.
Oh, a real life character.
Yeah. Also did not know that.
Then we got Vanessa Paradise. If you guys don't know, that's actually Johnny Depp's ex-wife and Lily Rose's mom as the history instructor teacher, Mrs. Maurice. We got Tyler Posey, who plays Hunter Calloway's friend, Gordon Greenleaf. Genesis Rodriguez, she plays Miss Wickland. That's the gym instructor, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Jennifer Schwalbach, she plays Colleen M's mom, Mrs. Mackenzie. We got Shashir Zamata, sorry if I mispronounced her name. She's principal Invincible. We got Harley Morstan, aka Harley from Epic Mealtime, right?
Epic Mealtime, yes. And someone that I've shared pizza with.
Oh, that's right. He was in one. He was at the Kind of Fine Live event.
Kind of KFL.
I don't
Two
remember.
or three. It's KFL 3. At KFL 3.
Is this the one
it like
where
a normal
When we
pizza?
went to Wings,
Yeah.
the line was so big, I buggered off down to the pizza shop, and then Harley just comes in and walks up and stands behind me in the queue, and then he's like, "What's your largest pizzas you can do? I'll have 3 of them, please." I had a nice little chat to him, and I saw his pizza.
he was judged at the milkshake competition between Kevin and Finnegan, right?
Yeah,
Because that's how I remember him from Kind of Funny Live. Okay.
yeah. But no, he came out and hung out, and then obviously distributed the pizzas to everyone in the crowd around Wings because it was taking so long for everyone to get wings.
Alright. And then we also got, what was it? Kevin Smith. I mean, Kevin
Jason
Smith.
Mewes, yeah.
Yes, he cameos as the cop. Then we got Kevin Smith. He plays the Broadseas. And we got cameos from Kevin Conroy. We see him appearing as a customer. And apparently he's credited as Canadian Batman.
Yeah,
He also-
he does turn around and say, "Come on, Robin," to the.
That was the only Batman Easter egg. And then we also got Stanley as the dispatcher.
Like just
And
how?
also, I found out about it like a few hours before we started the podcast. Johnny Depp's son is also in the movie.
Is it? All right.
Do you know who he is?
No.
The kid customers when Colleen M does the
Oh, what the one? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who middle fingers them. That's his son.
Yeah. Apparently, it was a bit of a family camp kind of movie. Like both of the families went.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned,
Etc.
Lily's mom, she's the history teacher, which
Yeah.
wasn't the.
But obviously, they were 15 at the time, so obviously they had to go with her.
So the woman that plays Harley's mum isn't actually Harley's mum.
No,
So Harley's mum is the restaurant, the person behind the restaurant, who's also
Yeah, yeah.
then
but in
basically-
real life, that's not Kevin Smith's wife, right?
No, that is Kevin's. Well, no. So the person who plays Harley's mum isn't Harley's mum in real life.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. She just looks.
She's-
She looks a bit similar. Or was it
Yeah.
just me?
The
being an idiot?
one Harley's mum is the one is the one in the restaurant. No. Sorry, no. Harley's mum is played by Harley's mum. Sorry, again, no.
Right. Yeah.
I
So
think
I'm
you
the,
just
the
gonna
other
check
one,
it
yeah.
and do the last minute
Yeah,
check.
no,
That's-
sorry.
the whole thing about the
Yeah.
period.
Oh yes,
competition's
that
actually
is her
real
mom.
Yeah.
There's Kevin
Right. Okay.
Smith's
I
wife.
thought she looked a lot like her, and I was like,
Oh yeah, no, that's.
sure.
So it is a family
And she
film.
also reprises the role in Reboot as well of her character in this.
Really?
Miss
Because I have not
Miss
seen the
Mackenzie.
reboot.
I know she was in it. I didn't know she was the same character.
Yeah.
That's that. This is the dark. This is the Thor: The Dark World of the viewer skew. It's there. We just don't need to acknowledge it.
Well,
We'll
I
just-
mean, this isn't viewer skew.
I know, but when you time a
Well,
reboot,
Well, I
it's
mean,
a
I
bit-
know that for what's it, Moose Jaws, he originally wanted James Silent Bob to appear in it, right? But then he removed them, last I heard, from the script.
From where?
Moose Jaw, like the planned third film, like
Moose Jaw. Okay, yeah, maybe. Again, they would have maybe made a bit more sense.
Yeah,
but
because-
again,
if he's still writing it, I guess we'll never know until it's.
yeah.
I mean, we don't know if this movie is happening, especially with Johnny Depp and the problem he's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
All
this
right.
would be very independently funded, and
Yeah.
Kevin Smith has got himself a little industry there of making films for like 3-5 million or whatever, and making his money back very
I mean,
quickly for
I mean,
investors. So,
we're googling it. This film cost $5 million and it
Yes.
made 38,000. That's
That's the box
That's
of
more
cut-
than
okay, so
that's more than you earn in a year, Mark. That's
yeah, no, what?
that was
The
probably
fact
all
that
of your
people
money as
see
well.
this as Kevin Smith's worst film over, what's it, Cop Out? Is this?
Yeah, but I mean, Cop Out wasn't a Kevin Smith film; it was only a Kevin Smith
I
directed.
mean, he still
film.
directed it.
Tusk
He
is
didn't write
worse.
it. Pardon?
Tusk is worse.
We'll have him
This
for
is
Tusk review.
bad.
Don't worry, we'll have him for the Tusk review, Mark. We might get Joseph Joe to get some
Yeah,
positive.
some more horror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So what was
the
it?
horror
Oh
perspective.
yes. We also know Joe is actually we had him on what was it? I forgot the movie Man of Steel. We had him for Man of Steel, and also all three of us we get started and we are fighting for see who gets the most views.
I overtook Andy last time I saw it. I think you had a
no.
1-2 lead.
I'm gonna see now who actually has the views now.
Yeah, you do, I believe.
Because that's
I mean,
how we
just-
also begin. Kiss About One. This is how also we begin with the previous episode's podcast. We all randomly talking stuff. Let me see. Oh god.
See, I was going to say who went first, but I think it was me that was first. So
Yeah.
I should have the advantage, but I'm losing.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
I'm currently the highest with 30 views. Mark is second, 28, and Andy's 26, third.
Right, time to click refresh several times. Just gonna open that one.
And by the way, I think we're about to lose because we got he recent episode he did for Alien. That's why we're gonna get more views than us.
Yeah,
that's got someone from Nightlight on it. So yeah.
All right, so I think we should start beginning because I'm pretty sure we just lost people in the first 10 minutes now with all this talk.
I mean, come on. If you're here to watch Yoga Hosers, for Yoga Hosers talk, it's just going to be us sitting around.
And if you need help because you made these decisions, we're here for you. If this was a decision you've made to watch this movie and then listen to this, then we're sorry.
Yeah. And I must admit, we are probably completely the wrong audience for Yoga Hosers. Yoga Hosers was made for teenage girls. And you've got
with various middle-aged men.
And Canadians who always say the word boot.
Yeah,
I did. Just best thing about this movie, just the constant boot joke that was ripped from South Park.
Oot as well in the subtitles when they were subtitling her friend.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about the subtitles later when it's part of the movie because I was watching it on a streaming service. I had the subtitles on and something I'll talk to you about later. So I think we should start beginning with the film. So it opens with the Collins, Lily and Harley. They're performing like a song. And first we think it's the house, but it turns out it's actually the convenience store. And we see Adam Brody who plays Arkman, who what's his name? Ichabod, who actually the drummer.
Dickabod, because that's just everyone.
That's what they call him.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna call him Adam Brody. So we see him there, and then later we see him that the people were waiting for him outside. They opened the door, and this replied, "Sorry about that." That's what they.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about.
Yeah.
Just nail the head in the coffin with that joke.
We get it. Yeah, but I mean, we see him like now you guys have seen Tusk, because I have not seen it, but we see that there's a poster say that they helped them save the manatee. Can you explain guys how they saved them for those who have not seen Tusk?
I'm going to leave that for Mark because I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. I think he's the expert. We'll leave it to him.
They give some vital information to the detective,
Inspector Johnny Depp,
which lets them track down where he's gone.
Okay. So he just gave him the location because where Justin, because I know he goes to a house Justin like, then he gets turned to a manatee. That's all what I know about the film.
The walrus.
Well,
that's
right. Because they make a joke about it. And then we see a woman.
He gets converted into a walrus, not a manatee. Yes.
Yeah, and they make what did he say? Mantis.
Sea cow.
That's the moo. Joke, and then just like and then the kid is like, "Boo! I'm so stupid." And he fingers them. And they leave.
Whoa! Jesus Christ!
Gives them the finger. Gives them the finger. Yes. It's crazy, mate. Yes.
You know what? This is already now. We should put this. This is actually for adults on.
That's his sister as well.
Just to be clear, they're now all of age, so I'd watch that. But that's
maybe that's actually in the
not then.
God.
Now they're all.
I wonder what because right now Kevin Smith, I'm pretty sure because of Mark, he knows that we're recording this. Let's imagine his reaction when he hears this episode.
Kevin, I'm sorry.
I apologize. Like he gives him the finger. I should have said he gave him the middle finger. But saying how after and then we see like a Harley now. He plays the toilet paper man.
Yeah.
And
why do you call him the toilet paper man? He bought toilet paper.
I mean, it makes sense. If you don't know his name. I mean, then we see him like he leaves, and then you see something like he kills him. We don't see it. We see it off screen. He goes inside his ass. But we all know it's actually the Brotsies, right? That's the name.
He doesn't say arse though, does he? For some reason, in this very sort of older movie for older people, he says bum. And somehow that's funny.
It's not an R-rated. This is one of Kevin Smith's non-R-rated movies.
Oh, really?
Oh.
This wasn't. Again, because it was designed for 15-year-old girls.
Oh, that's right.
That would have restricted the audience in America.
So do they get a limit of swears then? Is it like the one shit rule? And
yeah, there's a certain, They
didn't want to waste the arse on this one. Film about Nazis.
Well, actually,
for teenagers.
I just read about it because they say that when he first submitted, they had to give it an R rating because of, later we talk about the book where we see the testicles being drawn, because the testicles, they say they had to give it an R rating. Kevin Smith had to fight them. He was like, I think he wanted to send them a new version of the movie, and they were like, they saw, what was it, the same version. It's like, now we give it a PG-13, that's it. And he did nothing. He was like, okay.
I mean, he's done that many a time with ratings and appealed them and managed to get them down.
I mean, some of the ratings are like, okay, why is this rated? Why is that? Because sometimes it's very confusing.
Generally, it's from like an NC-17. He's just trying to get it to an R.
All right. Okay, so after Holly dies, what happened? We see other side. But before that, we see Hunter Calloway comes in.
So blink and you miss it when Harley comes in. One of the other customers is Kev's mum.
Who?
Oh, really?
The old lady is Kev's mum.
Oh, so there's another family. There's a lot of family members. Like, what, they're doing it on vacation in Canada and they shot it?
I don't know where it was shot. I doubt it was.
Is it not Canada?
Most TV shows and films are filmed in Canada because of the tax stuff. But
let me see.
well, we know this is a film as a loss for Canada. It's a win for nepotism.
No, it's actually, according to IMDb, they shot it all in Los Angeles, USA.
Yeah, he tends to actually do American productions. Yeah. Because he can get it again, like his films are in a certain budget range, so he can get like.
I mean, I know that because Canada. Because I even noticed like there's not a lot of Canadian actors, because if you're watching a Canadian show, you know spot actors. Because what was it? When we reviewed Man City, we spotted Canadian actors in the film because they shot part of the location in Canada. Had they shot it, you would have noticed like Canadian actors come in.
Yeah, so, I think they pretty much got all of the roles sewn up with family and friends.
Family friends, and actors who like them from TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and what was it? Before we move on to the next topic, we saw, what was it? Hunter Calloway. He's played by Elvis, and his best friend. What's his name? Because I have the list of the people's name. Gordon, who's played by Teen Wolf himself, Tyler Posey. For those who know, I called Austin Butler Elvis because he's playing Elvis in the movie. Just imagine the transition. Kevin Smith, Yoga Hausers, CW,
Kevin Smith
MTV.
loves Elvis now. He won't stop talking about Elvis. Since he went to Graceland with his mother, it's become a running joke. Yeah. One that Ralph Garman literally just goes every time anyone he brings up Elvis. This goes.
Right. So, like I said, he went from Yoga Hausers, MTV, like the Sharon Chronicles appearance in season 3 of Arrow and CW, and now he's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Tarantino, and now he's Elvis
with Harley and Lily, I think, as well. Both are in.
Harley is in Once Upon a Time. I didn't spot Lily.
Oh, right, okay.
I think you might be thinking of Dakota Fanning, but she was in it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, they're both blonde and they have kind of a little bit the similar face.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see them and we find out. Here we see the first thing, the transmission, like the square, like if the introduction, which we see it happen to every character who gets introduced in the film.
Oh, the Instagram.
Yes, the Instagram
rip off. Yeah.
And the music from that 8-bit game, like, is that Oh Canada was playing? Oh Canada.
I think some of them. I think they were different, but there was definitely one of them was Oh Canada in the 8-bit style, like he says.
Yeah, because
that was okay, that's fair.
Yeah, he introduced and he tells him, like, he invites him to a party, which we'll talk about later. And then they cut to the restaurant where Colleen M talks to her mom, and her mom tells her, like, she first disagreed and then she agrees to them, right?
Yeah, but it was as long as he takes the knife with her.
Oh yes, the knife.
This is where we just get the 2-minute scene where the poor man is trying to eat chips with ketchup or French fries with sauce, and it's just period jokes because that's what teen girls want to hear, apparently.
Well, again, it's representation. You know, it's not something.
I love the first part when he's about to eat, and then she starts talking about the period. Then later with him spitting, it's like, okay, there's going too long. And then he starts spitting.
I felt sorry for the man. Like, oh, what a shit day you're having.
Yeah. He was like, man, I want to work with this director for all the time. This is what I get.
You get free food.
Yeah.
All right, and then later we see like move on to Colleen C's house, and we see her talking to her dad, Tony Hill, and we find out that he's in relationship with a new mom, as a new girlfriend. Colleen C doesn't. You know what? I'm just gonna call Harley and Lily instead because we see.
And I believe most of all of those photos are like real photos of them from throughout their lives. That's friends.
There's not Photoshop. That's the one thing.
Yeah, they didn't have to because they'd got a load of
Didn't have the budget for Photoshop.
I mean, if you should have seen the new Charlie's Angel, but they have to Photoshop, Patrick Stewart like he's younger, and the photos was like, oh my god, they're pretty bad Photoshops. I'll show
Patrick Stewart's looked the same for 30 years. You don't need to Photoshop.
I'm gonna show you why after we end the part. I'm gonna show it to you the photos. Okay, so we see him. He's dating Natasha and Leon, who looks fine as hell in this movie, and she actually she and what's wrong with Mark? I mean Andy.
Nothing. I was just.
I mean, she looks beautiful, Natasha Leon. She's actually one of my celebrity crushes, actually.
Oh really? Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. I only know her from. I only watched like half a season of Orange and the New Black, so
she's in Russian Doll. She's good in it. She created and directed some of the episodes.
Oh, okay. I have like zero knowledge for her. Same with the dad. I'm like, he's in a season of Chuck. I like him in Chuck.
He's from Arrested Development, right?
Yeah. Never seen it.
Yeah, the guy who actually loses his hand to what?
Yeah.
That's something you're saying. How you see him like he leaves with his girlfriend. They're about to have sex, but Colleen, Lily. We call Colleen Harley, Colleen Lily. Okay, that's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Colleen Lily, she starts singing a song about her dad sisters, and I was like, oh come on, man. I got really positive because man, like I said, I like Natasha, and I was like, man, you're saying you stopped just having sex with Natasha Leon to stop or listen to this song.
But she was singing her like a lullaby that her dad sung her when she was a baby, so
surprisingly good singers. I'll give them that.
Yeah, I mean, I admit
Harley was in a band for quite some time. Yeah,
I did not know that.
And I will because this thing, I feel like the part with the dad, he could have been fine if you. I don't know if you guys remember the episode of Seinfeld where Elaine, she dates someone, and every time he hears a song he liked, his favorite song, he stops and then he freezes and just listens to the song. I feel like something like that. If he has frozen, maybe she told him, hey, and he should like, shh, I want to hear the song. And maybe because I feel like this part would have been better. Like if he should have, it would have been a little bit funnier. And then
I think it was just playing for that emotional, like Marcel, lullaby, just like the. She they're so like manipulative. Thank you. That's the word I'm trying to say. Just to fuck them over. Well, not fucking them over, but yeah.
Yeah, or prevent them. Yes.
Yeah.
She clearly does not want her to be the new mum.
Yeah, and she clearly doesn't want like a new brother or a sister. Just imagine. Okay, so and then we see them. We get to this also. After that, we get to introduce Justin Long as the yoga instructor, Yogi Bear. Man, do they run?
I'm not happy with the product you gave me.
It's just I think there's probably quite a bit of improv in these scenes with Justin Long. Certainly feels like it.
I feel sorry for Justin Long because he's in a lot of films and then none of them are good.
Even Accepted?
I've never seen that.
That is a good
That's
film.
the one where they go to college. They create a fake college because and then everyone gets accepted who got rejected for college.
Oh wait, isn't he in Dodgeball as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great film. There we go. I'll take that back.
He's been in good stuff.
Yeah. He used to date, if not mistaken, Drew Barrymore from real life, if not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
Because
she likes comedy people, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tom Green?
Yeah. Did you know with Ryan Reynolds as well?
I think that's Scarlett Johansson. She used to be with
Ryan
Reynolds.
They were married, yeah. I've just got Ryan Reynolds on the head. Sorry. I'm always thinking about him.
Because you think of the guy. He's
Again,
also
we
not
don't want to know
Canadian.
what he's thinking about Ryan Reynolds.
Because he's Canadian, that's why we were watching a movie about Canada, not shot in Canada.
I'm just being patriotic, thinking, oh, Canada.
Yeah. And you already got your flag behind
Andy.
you.
Shush, Andy. We don't need to demonetize the video.
I think we're way past that. We're going to talk about Nazis later. I think that gets you demonetized.
Yeah.
We even talked about fingering. I'm pretty sure that's also going to put us in
I was trying to move past that. But
so we get introduced to him. He teaches them some yoga moves. Because later they bring up with the whole running gag with his name in another scene.
Yeah, because then he changes to Boo Boo Bear, which is just...
Well, Warner Brothers keeps
Wait
suing
until
me.
next. You got Ranger Smith. Maybe if that's his name in the third film, we find out his name is Ranger Smith. Alright, so
makes sense.
Okay, so then it cuts to school, right? Where we see them like they're in the gym. In the gym teacher, she gets mad at them. Do these schools really? Is there any school that teaches yoga as a sport?
Ours used to do not yoga, but it was a similar thing of the Dance Dance Revolution games. The girls class got to do that as their thing. So what happens in girls' PE classes? I have fucking no idea. I assume there's probably a course on yoga.
Maybe there is. And we meet the other.
Again, it's also established later on that this is a private school, so
yeah.
Again, obviously,
how do they afford a private school when they just own a shop?
Oh, is that
maybe? Well, I was going to say maybe they're smart, but
no, don't we know they're not? They're basic.
Maybe we don't. Maybe they're the owners.
You don't know that they're not smart, but yeah.
Well, the only explanation
they don't
I
seem
got
like they try.
is maybe because maybe their parents are the owners. Like for example, Colleen, what's it? Lily's dad. He owns all this. What's the name of the place?
Easy or something. Yeah.
Yes,
the A to Z.
Yes, the A to Z is something. Blah blah. Well, maybe he's the owner of this kitchen, like it's like a 7-Eleven. Maybe that's his own version of 7-Eleven. And what was it? Colleen M's mom. Maybe she's actually the head of the restaurant which she works at. Maybe that's the only explanation I can think of. So
they must be doing well to afford private school because that shit costs thousands.
Maybe that's Canadian 7-Eleven and that's Canadian. The other one's Canadian McDonald's. That's the only explanation I can think of. I mean, everything is different. Like instead of Us magazine, they got Them magazine, which is another.
Yep.
And
that's called licensing, yes. Not being out in the budget. Yeah.
But they're okay to use the word Batman, and is Batman not licensed?
I don't think they say Batman, do they?
Yes, and we'll talk about it later in the third act.
And I think you can reference Batman anyway. Again, like that's a.
I say that's like Family
but
Guy.
Again, if you have the Batman logo, that's when you suddenly start coming into licensing and things.
Yeah.
I mean, he does has Batman in the movie appearance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see like the instructor, Mrs. Wickler, she gets mad at them for not exercising, and they try to use the excuse that Yogi Bear gave us a paper that we're not allowed to do yoga, and then what was it? And she confiscated their phones from them. And then the next guy,
and then Harley faints.
Oh, yes, I forgot she faints. And then the next thing it cuts to them, and like in the history teacher, and that's where you can introduce to the history. I meant the history club. For some reason I said history teacher.
Yeah.
A surprisingly really good actress. Like I don't know why. I just really liked this scene.
Yeah, she's actually a great actress. I saw her in a French animated film. It's called The Monster in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. She plays, I think, the female lead, and the monster is played by John Lennon's son.
Okay.
Yeah, it has some good cast. It's
also amazingly convenient scene of like, hey, it works, it's like
it's the entire plot.
Yeah, here's everything you're gonna need to know. We're gonna sell absolutely everything for you.
Like I said, this actress for if you don't know, that's actually Vanessa Paradis. That's how you pronounce her name. She's actually, in real life, like I said, she's Lily Rose Depp's mom and Johnny Depp's ex-wife, because I think they were divorced by the time they filmed this the film, because I think in 2012 they got divorced, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check.
I mean, no disrespect to Johnny Depp, it's hard to keep up with celebrity marriages because it's every 6 months it's somebody new.
Let's see. It's in 2012 actually. They are different. This one I think is 2016. They shot it. They are released. Yeah, so she just in the plot of the film, which we waited about like half the film for it to finally get to the plot of the movie. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, but you don't need. How many horror movies do you wait that kind of until they reveal the villain or whatever? And again,
I mean, we do see the villain, but we see it off screen, one of them.
Yeah.
All right. So we find out that that used to be like a Nazis in Canada. We find out that what was it? Haley Joel Osment, the kid from people you might recognize him as the kid from Sixth Sense, and So AI, that's the Steven Spielberg movie.
He's in like 2 episodes of The Boys.
Oh, he's also in Tusk.
But he was actually the producer, right? The best friend, the Justin Long's best friend from
from Tusk, yeah.
Because I saw some clips, so I haven't seen the whole movie. And the gym teacher was also in Tusk, right? Was she the love interest?
No, I don't think so.
Let me check. I know we talk about it later when we talk about Tusk.
Anyway. Well, when we talk about Tusk, yeah.
So we find out that Hugh Jackman, he plays he plays a character named Adrian Arkham. We find out that he's actually in real life. That's actually a real life Nazi who actually in real life did say that I'm the Fuhrer of Canada. So we see him like he's trying to bring the Nazi to Canada, and then we see him, one of the people who get introduced to him is Andrenkos Arkham, who's played by
Ralph Garman, yes, who actually gets a line. His lines don't get cut in this film. It was a running gag for some time. All of his he doesn't say a word in Red State. All of his lines are cut out of Red State. So it became a bit of a running joke with them.
Yeah. And at least his scenes were not removed, because if you remember, there was a story that he got, I think he did a movie with Bruce Willis, and then Bruce Willis didn't like him. He got him kicked out from the movie, if I'm not mistaken. There's a story.
Ralph Garman?
Yes, I think something like that. He also had a negative experience with Bruce Willis. I don't know if that's before or after, like what his diagnosis.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Kevin Smith had a not particularly fantastic
experience.
But they're patched over it. They actually might actually be going, meeting up again in the near future.
Because we saw, like, after the diagnosis, he apologized to Bruce Willis. He said, I take back everything I said about you.
Yeah.
And then so we see him like the Nazis, and then we find out that Adrian got arrested, but Arcane actually got disappeared. Nobody know where he went. And after that, the colonies, they go to the Principal Invincible, which is supposed to be a joke. Principal Invincible.
They're just
rhyming. It just sounds fun. Just fun to say.
But I do actually admit, I know I'm not familiar with the act, but I actually did like her, like to replace the principal in this scene with talking with them.
Again, there's lots of great acting in this film.
Yeah, but my main problem with this film is basically, like I said, the whole like Canadian, they overrun the joke for so long. Like it's the same joke that gets run all over again. Like the fact that Canadians cannot say the word above, boot, the whole.
But it's not, they can't. It's that they do, and
do they? Because I mean, I've seen Canadian TV shows that had Canadian actors, and Canadian shows that I don't hear one of them say the word a boot.
It's probably like a regional accent thing.
Yeah.
Like depending which part of Canada you're from, and strong accents.
Maybe, I mean, did you? Yeah. I might have, because I mostly heard about. Did you say
none of the Canadians that are in the Zoom, I don't think have ever said it.
No, if we ever see a Canadian now, we're going to pressure them. Which all three of us can have Canadian.
Whom we had, our friend Carl.
Yeah, we have plenty of Canadians on the Zoom, etc. But yeah, I don't think any. Again, I think it's just a common running gag in pop culture, etc., isn't it? Which lots of Canadians will lead into. And
I mean, if I was a Canadian, I wouldn't get mad. My response would be like, "Can't you do a better joke?" That will be my response.
But to be fair, Canada sounds wonderful. Like they give us magical people. They have like the free healthcare we do. They got all the films and shit shot there. It's like it seems like a lovely place. You don't want to make fun of Canada. There's other countries you can make shots at.
Kevin Smith is a massive Canadian fan and loves Degrassi and actually shot a couple of episodes of Degrassi.
I mean, he even went and shot The Flash in CW for them in Canada.
Yeah, and Supergirl.
Yes, Supergirl, because I remember his daughter was in the episode.
Yeah, and Muse is in the episode of The Flash as well. Or a couple of episodes of The Flash.
And Bob, they appeared in an episode of The Flash.
Yeah, but Muse was in it on his own beforehand as well, because he was like, if you're going to do this, you have to take me. He loves The Flash. It was like, we're going to fall out over this if you don't get me into this.
All right, so after the talk with the principal, which actually I've seen, I actually really liked, she hands them like the phone, but I think the reason why is because you see like she's like them, like she has the same sense, because you see like look, see, we have the same phone covers, etc.
Yeah.
Then later, if she hands him the phone, we find out that the phones are all out of power. Then we see Inspector Johnny Depp appears.
With on the screen, one of the notes on the screen was Walrus Yes, which was what was what Kevin asked to be tweeted after he basically came up with the plot of Tusk. Was extremely high on a podcast with Scott Mosier. And then it was like, oh yeah, if you want to see it, tweet Walrus Yes. If you don't want to see it, tweet Walrus No. Apparently, there was only one response with Walrus No, and it was like, I'm really Walrus Yes, but for the case of democracy, I want to do it at least one time. But yeah, nice little reference back to Tusk, and also the makeup for Johnny Depp was his doing. And the size of the nose, etc. He was like, I want to go as crazy as possible. He actually brought in, but I said this is based on Tusk, actually brought in his own makeup artist and came in like the nose and stuff. It's like, I want to do this. And he's pretty unrecognisable as well, I think.
I sent a picture of him to my friend when watching this. I'm like, do you recognise this person? She's like, I have no idea. It's fucking Johnny Depp. It's like, wow, never would have got that. Because even the voice is a little bit of a giveaway, but yeah, the face is just, unless you know, you wouldn't notice.
I think maybe the eyes, maybe it's a bit takes away. And if I'm not mistaken, the most they changed place in every shot. This was, I think, I read it was done on purpose. Supposed to be like a nod to a Mel Blanc's movie. Did this thing was happening also with Tusk, where his most was changing places?
Yeah.
Oh, so
he had a whole thing and he was, and yeah.
Maybe he's Rorschach, because if you've seen that
again, if you're Johnny Depp and you're doing a Kevin Smith film, you might as well have some fun on it.
Of course, you have to lie. That's Johnny
Depp. You're not doing it for the paycheck.
You talk about who was at that time. I don't know if the biggest star at that time. The studio was like, "Hey, do whatever you need to keep him." He says it's a yes to him. What has a good example?
There wasn't a studio involved in this.
Yeah. But the investors maybe because a part of it he has to keep him. It's like I don't want people to anger him anything because this is the biggest star of the film. I know he's not the lead. He's if you compare all the other actors, he's the bigger name. And because
but I don't think is he advertised much though as being in it?
No, it wasn't. It was never. Yeah. It wasn't. They never advertised it as. This is a Johnny Depp film. Oh. Yeah. It's that Kevin Smith film, and it's Harley and Lily and the Kevin Smith crew with Johnny Depp, But I don't even, if you look at the box art and stuff, I doubt his name.
They're not. No, it's just them two in there.
Or the poster or anything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, he was just there for. I think because he was having to be there to look, with his daughter, so it's like come and play.
I wondered if you knew that his ex-wife was in the movies. I don't know how his relationship with her.
Again, that was probably that he had to go off and film, and she came in to look after Lily or something.
But I imagine having a child together, you sort of need to keep some form of relationship.
So both of them were 16 when they shot this movie.
Were they 16 or 15?
Oh, okay.
They were young, either way.
So, all right, okay. Because I saw I was watching a guy's review about the movie Lily did recently called The Wolf, and apparently she has a nude scene in it. That's why I was asking about the age. I was like, how?
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Oh yes, I saw this Inspector Johnny Depp, and they are recharging them from. He tells them about the murder of a toilet paper man.
Yeah.
That's what
it's just stupid, but it's funny.
And this is also the part where we see him. He shows the book where I said it originally got them an R rating because of the balls.
But they're fine with gay Lapointe.
Which also aren't they cartoon balls as well?
Yeah, they are.
That's why that was his response. These are cartoon balls.
Yeah.
Means because he drew the hairs, that might give them an R rating.
Yeah, a film that Kevin Smith's in at some time. I think you should watch his film called "This Film Is Not Yet Rated." About the MPMA, which is not a government body. It's just a group that built themselves out and then basically dictate how much a film can make. Based upon all these arbitrary things and the appeals process, and how they, in particular, certainly when this was going on more, it was more like 19th stuff like you could have a man and a woman, you could have a man and a woman kiss, but if you had a gay kiss, you'd end up with a higher rating or whatever. It was, very insidious, and supposedly parents, being like,
Matt Stone and Trey Parker talk about them a lot because they've had constant issues with them. And I can't remember, it's going to annoy me, the original name of the South Park movie, but they changed it to obviously bigger, longer, and uncut because they can get that past censors. And they approved it. They approved the posters, and then like a month later, the censor was like, "Hang on, that's a dick joke. You can't have that." I'm like, "Too late. You approved it. We're done." So that's why it's got that name.
And I read also that apparently they had to use the word "fuck." They had to make sure how many times we are allowed to use it for an R rating.
Yeah,
they had to make sure.
Yeah,
it's so bad. It works out, at least in that movie. It's a swear word every 18 seconds or something stupid like that. It's an obscene.
And now PG-13 is like you can allowed to drop on one F bomb. Now, does this film had an F bomb or not?
I don't think so.
I think it's probably before that. But is it like, I think it's like, is it one shit, one bitch, and you can like hint at an F bomb or something? I think.
Yeah.
Because it's whatever Marvel movies do. That's the standard.
Let me check. Nothing I've seen.
Yeah,
because I was watching,
it's all very arbitrary.
Because like I said, when I did the Man of Steel episode with Joe and Kai, there was because we didn't talk about, but I remember there's a scene where the general comes in and just saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "What the f are you doing?"
Yeah.
It's like, really?
That's for censors. That's just so we can.
But you're allowed to hear Wolverine in one scene in X-Men First Class drop the F bomb.
Oh, that's a great scene though. That's if you're gonna give the fuck, you give it to that. You give it to Hugh Jackman in his cameo. That's all you need.
Yeah. Okay, so where do we stop next?
We're with his book.
Yes, he talks to him about the book which apparently he wrote it after the Manti, the Tusk event, right?
It's about the Tusk investigation. Yeah.
Because after you
they instantly come up with a way better title for it.
That's right.
Which is I'm really upset about.
All right.
Probably would have sold better.
So
told his mum the good review.
That's definitely not hinting at real life there for Kevin, is it?
Because he takes the scene where he takes a jab on critics later, and we talk about it. And then so after that, he leaves them. Their phone gets switched out. They get a message that Collins, Lily's dad. He calls me. He tells them like, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving to Niagara Falls with my girlfriend. You two, I want you guys to look over the shop." They get mad because they have a political party with Hunter Calloway. And this is actually what I told you, and this is actually one of my favorite best part because I get to see Natasha Lyonne win against them. So I like to try.
Yeah, do we also think they're about to get married?
Maybe, because if he is, he better be.
Well, no, I mean Niagara Falls is somewhere people go to get married. Around there, it's like a really popular for it's kind of like
because
North
I remember
Vegas.
it's because of The Office, because if you remember Jim and
North Vegas.
Okay, and also
it looks like it as well. It's really when I went there in 2001, very similar kind of like all of the Hard Rock Cafe, all of these sort of tourist traps.
Okay, so anyhow, so after they failed to convince their dad to let them to not leave, and they're not being able to go to the party, we see them later. That's when they are in the shop, and then that's when Kevin Conroy comes in, right?
I've got Kevin Conroy. Come on, Robin.
Yeah, that's the part where he says, "Come on, Robin."
When he's leaving, just come on, Robin.
Yeah, and they get mad at him. That's not very Canadian for them. So after that, they leave and they get a call from Hunter Calloway, where you find out that Hunter Calloway and his friend, they're faking they're not at a party, and she tells them, "Why not come bring the party here to the store?" And he was like, "Oh yes, we'll come." But you see them,
they're also on the phone. They just look like they're hanging outside
a bloody
empty warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like.
And he had the studio on with some random music. It's like, see, we are at the party. And also I like that. Oh wait, I have to go to another room. They lowered the volume. See, I'm in a different room.
Yeah, it's where you start to realise that maybe these boys are not what you think.
Because I mean, even the beforehand, they weren't the greatest guys because they were inviting girls a lot younger than them to a party that's clearly for fucking.
And so thank God the mom gave her a knife.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
It wasn't for fucking. They didn't want. They wanted them expressly not to have been fucked.
Yeah. But then, if they weren't, we're going to get to it in a second because I really don't like this plot of this subplot. But if they weren't going to do what they were doing, the assumption you make beforehand is they go into a party with older kids for fucking, or the older kids want to fuck.
Well, again, it doesn't have to just be fucking. Yeah,
it's heavily implied. It's to be with the younger girls in that way. So even before the Satanism stuff, they're not exactly the nicest of people.
Well, I mean, one of them's clearly a complete dickhead. Treats him as it.
I mean, an idiot. He's drinking. Was it the Slurpee?
Yeah.
So we find like he's planning to bring it. Then we find out that when they go to the store, we find out that they are actually Satan worshippers. Like they want to sacrifice them. And if it's just like, oh, we're different. You don't have to be like a virgin. No, we don't care. We just want to be. We're just gonna kill you. And then she pulls out the knife, puts it at his dick.
You know what? On his testicle. That's the worst place, I think.
Yeah. And then we say later we see one Bratsis, they go inside his ass and kills him. And kills we see also that his friend also gets killed by the Bratsis. And then for that the Collins they start fighting them and they start doing their. Oh wait, I just remember. Before that, they were actually with Yogi Bear. That's we see him like fighting with Warner Bros. Over the name of the Yogi Bear, right?
How could you own a cartoon? Just.
We tell that to Disney. Then isn't Mickey Mouse supposed to be in public domain?
Probably. It's probably some.
Yeah, but
it should have been. Yes, by now.
Still, they still own it. Think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Yogi Bear is not Mickey Mouse. They said he might get to public domain, but
careful. We don't want to insult the mouse. He'll come for us. He's more powerful than we could possibly imagine.
I mean, the guy behind it worked with the mouse. Maybe he can give us some good word.
I mean, I'm surrounded by Disney stuff, one way or the other.
Just tell them, yes, I have Star Wars stuff.
Or Marvel, yeah.
I mean, I have some other stuff besides.
I've got the Infinity Gauntlet next to me. I
have some 20th Century Fox movies behind me.
Yeah. Also, I've seen a fair number of Kevin Smith films are owned by Disney now. But I'm not sure they're ever going to come to Disney, but that might be a line too bad.
What are you doing, hey, Kevin? We saw yoga houses and we have some wood for you.
I think they're more clerks than all the rest.
Just imagine if that was the Mickey Mouse instead of Yogi Bear. Mickey was sent, not just to call him, like he sent his agents to Yogi Bear. And they're like, what happened to Yogi Bear? I mean, Mickey Mouse, that was his name.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of the South Park episode when you did the.
So was that, with the security rings.
Oh my God, where he goes to try. Oh my God.
Oh, they're the reason for COVID. Yeah. Well, now we're definitely demonetized because you can't say the C word. So.
What, can't?
I love the way he beats the two Brits.
Holy shit.
I realized where would
Brits to the cup bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, if we are American, if we just say it, we might get cancelled.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, like I said, that was a joke. Okay, that was not something being offensive.
Oh no, you're right.
I mean, if it wasn't, I apologize in advance.
I mean, I mean this all seriously. Americans, you can't say wanker. Something about your accent, you just can't say it. That's fully offensive. Just
in the UK, you have a different meaning for cigarette.
We call them fags.
Yeah.
I found out about this from The Getaway too. When I was playing it, I was like, why is he calling it this the F word for the smoke?
Why is he saying he wants to smoke a fag? Yeah. A suck on a fag, yeah.
This is a complete tangent, but my dad found that out.
Cigarettes.
Yeah. My dad found this out when we were in America years ago. We got off the plane before we got on the bus. My dad went to the bus driver and said, have I got time for a quick fag before we go? Meaning cigarettes. And then my dad went off, did it, and the driver came to me and my mum and were like, oh, he meant cigarettes.
Maybe imagine if he brings them like a gay guy. It's like, hey, did you ask for me instead of cigarettes?
It's like, oh, there's my second dad. But yeah, that was like, oh no.
God. And by the way, if those who are listening or watching, we are nasty people, okay? So
yes, we don't mean this in offence. We purely just
and again,
words are funny.
Yes, we are joking at the usage of words, not
the actual
using those words in a hateful way.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we just got demonetized, or when we get the season.
Yeah, we're
well, I mean, like the 5 cunts probably did us.
Yeah, the cunt did it. But to slightly go back to the film, but also a joke, the Satanists obviously only want virgins. So, Mark, they'll be after you.
I mean,
I have that joke written down. I wanted to use it for ages.
All right.
Huh? What was? Huh?
The two guys only want to kill virgins, right?
Yeah.
Which means they'll be after you.
I'm not a virgin.
The joke is that you are. We'll just.
At least he didn't make fun at your age like he always does. That's
all of my jokes are bad. How is this news?
Okay.
Yeah,
at least they're funnier than Ricky Gervais's joke. I have to give you this.
Yeah.
All right. I can't wait for him to write something mean about me on Twitter right now. If he sees the episode.
Somehow I don't think Ricky Gervais is going to see this episode.
I don't know. I mean, if Kevin Smith can wind up seeing it.
Can you just imagine it? Think of it.
I mean, if he has, there's better things to worry about.
Yeah. Like
also,
like Will Smith.
Fantastic.
It is.
Okay. All right. Okay. So where were we? Oh yes. So they after the Brodsky kills the two Satanists. The Colin, they start using their yoga powers to defeat the Broadseeds.
They will say, don't they call the police at some point before,
they call Stanley and
they get Stanley. Yes, that's the radio searcher.
That's his second cameo for Kevin Smith after Mora.
Oh God, no, I don't think so. No, he's been in way more than that.
I know he was in Princess Diaries too.
He was in Mallrats. And then this.
Let me see. I'm all right.
Oh, isn't he in the animated Jason Silent Bob movie as well?
Yeah, I mean he's in a lot of Kevin Smith stuff. They had a really good relationship.
And of course the end credits of Reboot.
Yeah,
it's actually quite sweet.
Amazing guy. Yeah, and yeah. So it thanks Kevin Smith for his career of cameos and bringing him back into the pop culture.
He was in Silent Bob Reboot because that was before Yoga House Mora was his only cameo for Kevin Smith.
Was it? Oh right, okay. I could have only been in some other stuff, but I mean they've done loads of documentaries.
He was in Kick-Ass apparently.
Yeah, again, Stanley will be
in everything.
Stanley was very happy to go in.
I mean, how much did he pay him for each cameo?
He always wants to be a novelist and an actor, etc. And just ended up writing comic books as a second thing.
So after they defeat the Bratzies, they leave outside, then the cops arrest them. And then during the PlayStation, we see that Jason Mewes, he plays a cop who's a fan of Inspector Johnny Depp, and he brings him inside to talk to the girls. He tells them he believes him because he finds one of the Bratzies, right?
Yeah, in the back of the microwave, they find a bit of
Bratzie.
Yeah.
Wunderbar.
I read somewhere that apparently Jason Mewes was supposed to be playing the Bratzies, but apparently he was allergic to the makeup. And Kevin Smith's fine, I'll do it.
Yeah, I believe that was the case. Yeah. Which I think was also done by the Kirkman house. Kevin Smith and Tusk and all of them. He actually gets one of the best makeup people as one of his friends. So. Creations.
I mean, I would admit the special effects in this movie, the CG, you see it, when there's the fight scene, they do not look that good. But I mean, later we'll talk about that.
The practical effects are good. Yeah.
The makeup on that giant golem we'll talk about later. I think it looked better than compared to the CG.
The CGI was just the clear yellow confetti over the screen. It looked
it's like you're watching an Asylum movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was probably also a stylistic choice to try and, again, for rating purposes,
they couldn't have blood just
to make everywhere. It not gory.
Can you make it it's something like a meat or anything that's not supposed to be red?
It's meant to be sauerkraut, isn't it, or whatever?
Yeah, or some form of something you put on a hot dog.
Yeah. But again, I think that was also intentionally done as to not be violent.
Yeah.
Except
because I thought that movie was
or not be gory.
Because I thought the movie was R-rated. Because if I'm not mistaken, Tusk was R-rated, right?
Yeah, but again, Kevin Smith basically made this movie with the intention of making a movie for teen girls for his daughter, Lily Rose's daughter, to star in, and for a movie about about two female leads, etc. Back then, also it was for an action film, or whatever you want to call it, quite rare just to have. There's also no real romance in it, etc.
I was thinking, what's romance? Like the only thing I remember, you're talking about Hunter Calloway.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that like? Oh yes, so you have to hit the sides, and then she starts speaking French with Inspector Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
She tells him that there's a secret patches, and if I'm not mistaken, he says that's like my second favorite funny part, which is like he tells her what he says in shit in French, and it's like, oh, that means shit in French. He tells to call.
Yeah.
And after that, they go inside. They go inside. They go back to the
convenience
the
store.
Convenience store. Their own Canadian 7-Eleven. She tells her like there's no secret patch, and we find out the bathroom. There's a secret patch.
She's saying it, behind the secret passage.
And then Inspector joined them, gets inside. He sees them now, and then he gets drugged by the Nazis.
The Nazis.
And then we find out like inside we see like Ralph
Garman.
We see the Nazi scientist Arkin. We find out
here's the Hollywood Babylon segment. Literally doing all the processes does on Hollywood Babylon.
Adam West was so fucking good.
Okay, the Adam West one was good, but his Arnold was also good. I mean, I will admit his impression was good. I was like, okay, why is he doing the impression part? It's like I feel like it's like, you know what, you're good at impression. Just do impression for.
Well, no, they do it on Hollywood Babylon. He was also a radio DJ, etc., and he used to do kind of impressions on his show and things as well. So it's something he's done for years. Hence why it's actually fairly rounded out.
Okay,
but also
it's better impression than his Nazi impression. I'll give you this.
It's German impression, I think, not just.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Anyhow, so we find out his story. Like his story was that he actually he built made the Bratzi, but he feel like they needed more years for them to be prepared. So he actually
they blew it out. They blew it out when they were doing a gig they blew the power out to the reset.
He would tell us like, you told me to put it in all of them, so I put it in all of them. And then what happens that they wake up very early, and the Bratzis are acting like babies. That's why.
Well, they're not grown. They're not full size. They were meant to be full size, but they haven't. Yeah, they didn't have long enough in the oven.
So after that, we see him he talk about his story, like the reason he's doing this because he was curious that he wanted to become an artist, but they always poked fun from critics, and you find out that he created a golem from the body of the victims that they killed, and that he tells them, first of all, go kill the critics.
And you the golem's makeup is so fucking freaky. It's just unsettling to look at, to be fair.
It's the same people that did Walking Dead.
Oh, that's the guy who also did.
Yeah. That's why I don't like this movie.
All right.
I mean, he also did. He's a good makeup guy. If you go over his background.
Yeah.
I think he also did. The new Creepshow show on Shutter, because I know people love it. So what was it? And he also, in that part, they start doing a Batman impression. Like, I remember Johnny Depp was like, "Oh, that's good." Kids like, "What the hell is he talking about? That's not Batman." Start doing
Where's the trigger?
Yeah.
Start doing. And also, we talked about, what was it? He was watching, Arnold movies. I'll be back on to learn how to speak English. Was it to know about what's going on?
Well, no, just
Yeah, nothing else.
I think he already spoke English in the past, like in the 50s, 40s or whatever, didn't he? So I think he was just trying to catch up on culture.
Yeah.
With Arnold films.
the height of culture, as we know.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing wrong.
If you want to know what the
Terminator.
80s were like, it was 80s and 90s. They were failure.
Yeah, they're all just the same generation.
All right. So what happens that he sends the golem to go after the golem. By the way, in case you don't know how we forgot to mention, there are actually Brazis are inside his body, they're controlling him.
Yeah, so the Brazis. So it's not. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a golem. It's more like a meat suit.
A suit, maybe something like this.
Yeah,
because I think he calls the golem. That's why.
Something, yeah.
Because he calls it a golem, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
But again, it's being operated by the Brazis. It's not in any way.
What's it? A Gundam? What's it? A meat Gundam? We can call.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so what happens that he tells him to kill the critics and I do like the fact. Are we sure he's kind of? Was it Jointip who tells him like? Are you sure he's not killing he's killing.
They're not real people. Yeah. It's just the critics.
Yeah.
Which I think
he's
it's
actually the critics about his book, and this is also a little bit of Kevin Smith.
Is this supposed to be like Kevin Smith taking a jab on critics?
100%.
Yeah, he had he had some real issues with critics and things, and just and then he said, "Well, no, you just pay for my movies. I'm not going to give you free screen. So you can buy a ticket like everyone else."
Okay. So after that, we see that both of them, the colonies, they start using their yoga abilities that Yogi Bear taught them to fight the golem, and they defeat him. And then they become the town heroes.
Well, no, the way they defeat him is by taking out a number of knocking Brazis out of it. So And
also, we've got to mention Ralph gets killed by the golem
because he critiqued the golem 2 thumbs down.
Oh, that's why. So after that, they become the heroes. We see Yogi Bear became Boo Boo Bear, and he was like, "Oh, come on, Warner Bros. Why can't you leave me alone?" He was like,
I missed it. This bunker was 37 feet below the store.
Oh yeah,
37.
It was kind of obvious. It looks like they shot it in a room
number.
With the whole thing is black.
It's based on the number of dicks that the women sucked in clubs. And it's a number he's always had it on his jerseys, etc. It's a Kevin Smith Easter egg. He always gets 37 in there somewhere.
All right. What happened next?
Oh yeah, and then you see the heroes and the photo in the magazine. You see the photo in the magazine.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot to mention the Dim magazine. There's also a running gag of Harry Styles buying a bacon.
Yeah, why? Why would you make that joke twice?
I mean, if you can't afford the actor, why do you have to?
Who was the actor on the other one, which he blatantly got the rights to? I can't remember who was the one. When you see it, there was write that down. But it's very blatantly one of his. It's one of the Kevin Smith's alums.
When Yugi now Boo Boo Bear, there's a guy comes in, it's like, "Hey, you're the Collins. Is this supposed to be someone or just a random guy?"
I didn't recognize him. I think he was just meant to be
some random guy, so it's not as a friend, a celebrity.
I mean, he was just some random guy in the film, in particular. But then, no, he was just playing some random public member. But yeah, I didn't recognize him. But yeah, when they see the magazine with the Collins in, it's a recreation of the very famous Clerks photo. It's like Dante and Randall, they've got exactly the same pose. It's exactly the same shot.
All right.
Homage to Clerks.
It's a good thing I have you, our Kevin Smith expert.
Oh yeah, you'll have.
I'm gonna get it up now and see if I can find this. Oh, there it is. I found the scene.
All
right. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, this movie is free on YouTube. You don't have to pay for it. It's literally on a channel called Popcorn Flicks with 2 million subscribers. So I feel like it's allowed. Oh, there's Danny Trejo with a dog.
Oh yeah, it's Danny Trejo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and at the bottom I can see young Kevin Smith. And then on the side it says "They're loved," but I don't recognize them. But yeah.
Because
and then that's basically
the end of the movie. I didn't end with them
credits.
Singing "Oh Canada."
I mean, Johnny Depp comes in on the guitar.
I mean, he's a guitarist.
You can see his daughter give like when he's doing the back-to-back, she gives him a dad look. You can see it's like a 15-year-old daughter going, "Oh God."
And also, Mark, what was the last at the end of the movie? There's a dialogue with Kevin Smith. Someone like.
So yes. So
can you
then,
explain
the
this?
credits roll. So that was the origin. So it was the origin of the phrase "yoga hosers." So Scott Moser just said it as you hear in the dialogue at the end of the film. It's just an excerpt from the Smodcast, which formed and the yoga hoses. They were then, I believe, they're referenced in that as in Tusk, and then obviously they also then use that as the title. But it's kind of the origin story of where kind of the name came from, and it was just some random thing he threw out about Canada or whatever, and then they just start laughing and splitting off it as they did. We'll obviously talk a lot more about Spodcast when we do the Tusk when we come back to Tusk.
Okay.
Because there's literally an hour podcast. We'll just spitball the film.
Don't worry, Andy. Like I said, when we do Tusk, we'll have Joe with us to cheer you up.
Yeah. That doesn't help. I still have to rewatch that shit.
It's not shit.
Worse than this movie.
Pardon?
It's worse than this movie. It's the only thing. It's the only credit I can give this film. It's better than Tusk.
You're the opposite
Again, different audiences,
okay.
Different.
All right, so that's actually the review of the film. Now, before we leave, we're gonna give our final thought, and we're gonna score the film. Our score is going to be redeemable or unredeemable. Mark, do you want to begin?
I don't think I'd watched it since it came out. To be honest, I may have at some point, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I like the graphics when they flashed up with the little bio bits. I think that was quite cool. It's got some fantastic acting in it. It's short and sweet. It doesn't drag on. It gets in there and does what it wants to do and gets out. It's not. Well, it's like an hour and 20, isn't it, or something? Or
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 88 minutes.
It's not. It's not Batman. Not bloody Justice League Snyder cut.
That's honestly not where I thought you were going with this.
Yeah. No,
but
I mean,
is there a Kevin Smith cut of Yoga Houses?
Oh, no. Again,
if there is, we'll have to release it.
He tends to
just
cut.
to make Andy watch it.
Every week on bloody, or when he was editing the film, every week on Fat Man Beyond, and he was like, "Oh, I've cut another couple of minutes out of Clerks 3." And I'm like, "No, stop it, please! Stop cutting it." So yeah, he tends to, and he also tends to cut the films during production as well. He will edit during production overnight and stuff. It's where you can actually turn around films quite quickly, and also then know to get shots if if they've been missed or whatever, save reshoots. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the film for what it was, which was a film intended for teenage girls, etc., and Kevin Smith audiences, because of he's just sitting there going, "Oh, that's Ralph Goldman, oh, that's Jen, oh, that's Kev's mum, that's Harley from Epic Mealtime." I've completely forgotten that he was in this film.
Surprised Greg Miller is not in one of his movies.
Yeah.
How long do you think until he becomes?
Well, Tusk or something. But again, I don't think they didn't know each other by then. I don't think. I mean, there is some debate as to whether Kind of Funny did inspire running gag in Reboot, with the Predator, or not running with a gag in there with the Predator editor. If you've ever listened to the We Quit IGN podcast that they did with Kevin Smith, Nick mentions predators for producers, editors, and Kevin loves it. And then there's a line, but again, that's probably just via one of those things from the back of his mind, kind of thing. But yes, I mean, if Greg was going to be in anything, it would be in Tusk, because it's about podcasting more than anything. But maybe. Let's see it.
I mean, he's
just
doing
just don't let Kevin go anywhere
near
it after his opinion on Reboot.
I mean, Clerks 3. Maybe he's in Clerks 3.
Sorry, no. Greg Miller is in a Kevin Smith film. Greg Miller is in Strike Back. There's a photo of him on the wall at one point, because he was part of the
wasn't that a submitted thing?
Yeah. He submitted it via the VSQ message boards or whatever, and he picked photos out of there.
So he actually is in.
Obviously not credited or whatever, but I don't know, maybe credited actually, because he's always quite good about those. But yes.
So you scored what, redeemable?
I mean, I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable. Okay, it's not groundbreaking cinema, where it's not, but it's fun. Got in, got out. It's fairly amusing. Okay. And yeah, I thought Harley and Lily, for their first full, proper movie, etc., did very well. Obviously, gone on and worked with Tarantino and
Natalie Portman and
Cruel Summer. She's got
Timothy Chalamet. She did a film with Timothy Chalamet on Netflix.
What, Harley or Lily?
Lily. I think it was The King.
Yeah, they kind of, And hey, if you do it once to become an actor and you're Kevin Smith, why the hell would you make a film to showcase that?
All right.
And that's
So
I liked it.
So what
I
do
think
you
it's
score the film?
redeemable. It's thoroughly redeemable.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with,
Yeah. Well, okay.
Nothing irredeemable about it, I don't think.
Andy's ready to say some stuff. What do you want to say, Andy?
My time to shine. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn my light on, then I will be back. If you just fill the airtime for a second.
All right.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is my Zoom, isn't it? I could just kick him.
By the way, it will become different because I'm the squares, like you see.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't worry. Yeah,
don't fuck up this thing. He's put a lot of work into this. So I've made a list of things I enjoyed or noted in this movie. Okay.
How big is it?
I can slightly get to where
an invisible page. Is this how you wrote the list?
Oh no, it's just the fucking thing. That's a good joke, yes. I didn't think of that. That's just the light not adjusting. So I can get away wearing this jacket because they say yoga fett, which obviously Boba Fett joke. I assume.
That's right. I forgot. There's so many of them.
Yeah. The Jason moves, the cameos things are cool. That looks like about it. So as I said, the CGI is just awful. It is. I know you said stylistic choice. I get the lower rating, but it's the confetti that isn't on anything. It's purely just a thing over a screen. This film feels like a YouTube movie. So it's free on YouTube. That's fine. It fits there. This was $5 million. And I don't get how.
Well, because you've got Johnny Depp in it.
Yeah, but I feel like he probably did it for a low rate as a help a friend.
How many of the 5 million went to Johnny Depp? That's the question.
No. He would have. I believe he went on SAG minimum or whatever. Most people that cover Kevin Smith films do.
They know they're.
He doesn't pay very well at actors, etc. He doesn't use all of his budget to just get someone into an actor into a film. He tries to be as economical as possible. Gives people points on the back end and things like that, which are actually really valuable because he tends to make money. This was a bad example. Yeah,
this is okay. This is not the film you.
But again, I would say I would imagine if you actually looked at it now, it's probably broken even easily. Like again, he does massive DVD sales and Blu-ray still does.
You own this on DVD, right?
I own it on Blu-ray. Yeah,
of course you do. Didn't know if this would get a Blu-ray cut, but don't think I've ever seen it. I don't even think that's available.
Is there a 4K version of the film?
No, it's not.
I'm not going to go on Amazon.
We'll make Andy buy it for you.
It was expensive. It was expensive, the Blu-ray.
How much did you pay for your Blu-ray?
Well, it was like 28 quid. But
oh my god!
Amazon literally sent me a £7 if you get it delivered to the for orders over 20. If you get it delivered to like the lot boxes, I was like, yeah, I'll buy Yoga hoses for 21 quid. That's more palatable.
Oh my god! On Prime, you can get Yoga Hoses Blu-ray for £31.
Yeah.
For Americans, that's like what, $40?
No, that's 50-ish.
Yeah, no, I think the exchange rate's a bit shitty right now.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, either way, it's probably 40 and upwards.
Yeah.
Like that's like a video game. Like, come on.
Yeah, but again, they're rare now. That's why.
That's because no one wants
they're not. It's just people again,
It's because I'm doing this out of good fun, Mark. I know you enjoyed this movie. I know some people do. I didn't. It was
I want it to complete in my collection.
It's not as bad.
Like pretty much every film that Kevin Smith is in. Yes, not even every Kevin Smith film.
You have a shelf. You have a shelf of everything he's involved in or just slightly related to,
including the Donnie Darko where he does a commentary track on the director.
Not seen that film, thank God. The only good actress I will give in this film is Lily Rose. I thought she was believable as sort of the teenage girl who
teachers,
I like the history teacher
and the principal.
It wasn't that much. I mean, none of them were in that. It was just none of them.
Well, no, you say the only female actors in it. Like there were plenty of who did, quick performances.
I mean, I don't think anyone was phoning in his performance. That's all I can say. I don't feel like Johnny Depp's being Johnny Depp looking cartoonish. Everyone else sounds like he's acting, but I don't think anyone was phoning it in.
Again, if you haven't seen Tusk, I think you kind of lose the context for him.
Why?
For it, like it makes more sense in Tusk. In the factor of who he's this outlandish sort of thing, a character, a detective, and you get a lot more of the backstory and why he's basically mad. So,
for people who are watching this, just let them know there's over 300 movies on this shit list. Tusk is on there. Please make sure Tusk never happens. I know we do random number generated. People in the comments, but Tusk no, because I don't want to watch that shit.
It's Walrus, yes. It's Walrus, yes. Well, I will be leading a campaign.
Walrus, no. If this goes live, we are sharing that with that hashtag.
No.
Oh, yes.
Walrus, yes.
Walrus, no.
Well, we have to see what Yaz says anyway.
Depends, because I'm thinking about doing what Joe does, which have a guess to just pick a movie.
Yeah. It's probably easier, yes, because then you can just lock in guess and then they pick the movie as opposed to having to pick the movie and then find the guess.
Yeah. I mean, I agreed to this one just because I know Mark would want to, and I just want to shit on it. And I really hate
and support. I hope and to support.
Of course, support Yaz. Yaz knows I'm down for literally any movie at this point. I will watch anything.
He's going to be for the 50 Shades movie. He said he wants to be in 50 Shades.
Oh god!
It's about sex. I have to be anything that's shit comedy or sex related. I have to be involved in because the jokes are just too obvious.
Man, I have to also now get Carly to be part of the 50 Shades.
I will definitely be avoiding. I will not be on that. I don't.
Mark, you have props.
Andy will get us all cancelled on that episode.
If you've not looked at my Twitter, have you? I mean,
we're not. If you want us to get cancelled, we should review 365 Days.
You reviewed what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's better to not know about this movie then.
Okay, yeah. No? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's move on.
So Andy, what are your final thoughts and your score for the film?
I hate to, this is going to sound positive, but I don't mean it in a positive way. This is nowhere near as bad as people say. They say it's still. I had a friend who watched this because he's a bit like Mark. He loves Kevin Smith films, and he told me, "Don't watch this. It's awful." It is not great. It's just below the good mark for me. Like, it's fine. I didn't, like you said, it's a short hour and 20. You can get in, you can get out. You've seen it once. You may find a joke or two, or just the cameo. There's enough here to like or warrant a one watch. But I still think it's unredeemable. And I don't see the point in why. I know you said it's a different audience. We are not teenage girls. Yes. As much as
we have never been teenage girls, etc. Yes, we can understand that.
Yeah.
Maybe we should, with our alternate dimension, maybe there's a variant of us who's a teenage girl.
That's true. Yeah, with the metaverse, there's a teenage Mark and teenage Andy out there somewhere, little girls.
And they love yoga houses.
Let's move on.
This is a bad joke. I wasn't going to go where I think you were going, but yeah, I see what you thought there. But yeah, it's fine. It's like I see why it isn't popular. It doesn't deserve the hate, but it's still. I don't think
it's not a Kevin Smith film. So I think a lot of people went in expecting a Kevin Smith film and got a film targeted at teenage girls, etc.
Yeah. But then, to be fair, I've watched. Well, I'm not ashamed of this. I love High School Musical, which is sort of angled for teenage girls, sort of that demographic-ish.
And theatre nerds.
Yes, which I wouldn't call myself a massive theatre nerd, but that's that there's. A good film doesn't have to just stick with its demographic. Pixar movies are advertised as kids' movies, but they are family movies.
No, I mean, it's a similar problem with Jersey Girl, etc. that he had there as well. Obviously, the audience is expecting a raunchy Kevin Smith film, and you get something which is, I definitely think Jersey Girl is a good romantic comedy film. But again, his expectation from his audience was...
Yeah, because he is such a cult classic director sort of thing that if you watch The View Askew verse, which I know we will have, it's you know what you're getting with those sort of films, even though me and you have different opinions on where we rank the movies. It's like they are all sort of at a standard level, and the comedy is this is stoner comedy just for 2 hours. Fuck it, have fun. But this is just I don't know who this was for or why. I get it was for his family and for his kids.
It was to get his daughter the credits
but there should be real reasons why films should be made. Normally it's for money, and that's sort of where things. I know student involvement's usually always bad, but it's like maybe you could have used a studio hand in this one just to iron up some things. And
nah, I don't think. No
he makes the film for a very low budget. Studios like, oh, you can make low budget, we can make more money about it. That's how Tyler Perry became a billionaire.
Lionsgate, reboot now. Lionsgate are like just funded Clerks 3 straight down. They were like, the minute like the reboot DVD sales came through, they were like, right, what do you want to do next? Because it absolutely stomped it, and especially when he taught. Because what he does now is he tours them with Q&As afterwards. So that's why I was looking on Red State, which is the eighth highest per screen average opening weekend of any film of all time.
He opened everywhere,
he opened it at Radio City Hall with like 230,000 on one screen. But he does that now, so it's just like, and tickets are sold, and like before the film comes out, he's usually profitable now on his last few films.
But yeah, I know, like with Tusk was it sort of branching out into horror. This is branching out into sort of like you said, the teenage sort of girl thing. He's not good at branching out, in my opinion. He should stick to your lane, Kevin. Stay there. Just not to disrespect him. I still love all the shit he does, and I've listened to some of his podcasts.
Well, I mean, and obviously, I think Reboot is my favourite film of all time. So, yes.
Is that on the list? Please tell me that's on the list.
I don't think I have.
I don't think you'll find that's rotten. I don't think that would meet the criteria. Anywhere near.
Reboot has a 67. Fuck. I need to like find critics and just say, please make this movie just 59. That's all I need. Oh my god, it's got an audience score of 93. That's for how much of that is you? How many accounts did you make?
No. That's because it serves the audience. Reboot serves the audience, the Kevin Smith audience. Anyway, we're talking about other films.
Yeah, but we chat this shit,
Yeah.
So this is a 25 on Rotten Tomatoes and an audience score of 34. That sounds about right, to be fair.
Oh come on, it's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's not that good. I mean, it's in that fine line of I've definitely watched worse films, and I'm sure we're going to watch worse films. The best thing about this is it's short, but it's not very good. It's not up there, It's
fun.
Blade Runner's better.
We'll talk about Blade Runner.
Which one?
The second one. That's earlier when you were going about short. That's where I thought you were going.
I would far prefer to watch this than watch Blade Runner 2049 again.
Do you guys want me to put Blade Runner on the list? As all of us alongside Joe, we argue about it.
I don't think that.
But we've got controversial films in there. I think for the pure fun.
I have Joker on the list. That's
but I don't think, again, look at what Blade Runner 2049 has on Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's probably in the 90s.
It should be.
I don't think Disney has ever made a negative movie.
Blade Runner 2049 has an 88.
Yeah, I think that's a bit hard to shoe into the Rotten. I think, especially as I'm the only person I think anyone knows who thinks it's not good. Actually, no, I've known a couple of people that have agreed.
Yeah, but isn't Scott Pilgrim on this? And that's a fresh movie, I think.
I don't know if
it's God. Let's not start that.
Is that just another movie that everyone loves but Mark hates? Because see,
I think I have the love good if you guys are interested.
That's an argument of why Mark doesn't get a film opinion. He doesn't like Blade Runner 2049. He doesn't like Scott Pilgrim. His favourite movie is Reboot.
Scott Pilgrim is for reasons that I find it, on recent viewings, I've found it problematic for Scott Pilgrim.
I'm just going with the headlines of Mark like shit movies.
Blade Runner, I just think needed a better editor on it, and it would have been a good film. But
this film needed a good director, writer, and cast.
I mean, that editor won an Oscar for Dune.
It's got a good cast. Yeah. And Dune's good because it's got a good editor on it.
That's the same editor.
It just doesn't have all the blank space of Blade Runner.
Fuck off. June is a picture of desert. That's pretty blank. Blade Runner is views of cities and shit in it.
Yeah, I know it looks pretty, but they hang on it for 30 seconds too long every bloody time.
Well,
and there's no one talking or, etc. It's not moving along. At least in Dune, when they're doing all that, there's people dialogue over the bloody top of it. So actually something's happening other than it looking extremely pretty. But,
okay. So, Andy, you're going with the unredeemable score, right?
I hate to say it, but yes, this is not. This is not good.
Okay, so for me, actually, I heard about the hate about this movie. People are always attacking, saying it's one of the worst films. Now, after seeing it, all I can say is that the film is not good, but also it's not that bad. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's not actually one of the worst things like what people are saying it is. I mean, I have seen some movies that are considered to be one of the worst stuff. I mean,
Doolittle, it's not Last Jedi.
I'm talking about Doolittle, where you get into with how they ended the film. So that's the only thing that's positive about the film. So anyhow, like this film, like I can see like you see like the daughters, like Harley and Lily, they're actually doing good. I mean, just like they're from the first one, and now they're doing well right now. And the directing is also good. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's good. I mean, everything is good actually.
Yeah, it's good. It's not a great movie, but it's not a great film, a good movie.
But overall, as a movie, for a whole movie, despite I know he did it because just for his friends, because this is what he wants. I mean, Kevin Smith, he earned it. Like he did all the movies that he done, the praise and the love he got from. But he wants to make a movie. Let him make a movie he wants to make.
Yeah.
He said he wants to make this film. Let him do it. I mean, Robert Rodriguez said, you remember, he did a film because for his children was a Shark Boy and Lava Boy. That movie, you can say whatever you want, but he said he wants to do it. I mean,
there's a very long history of people doing films for their children of like, I actually need to do a film so my children.
I mean, a good example you want is actually Monster Truck. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was actually $120 million, and the idea was made because.
Well, I mean, Shrek, Eddie Murphy was like doing that was for his kids.
Yeah. I was going to say Street Fighter with
Raul Julia.
The guy's name. Yeah.
He actually, this was good. I mean, he was the best part in the film. So anyhow,
and even though Kevin and Quentin are friends, Harley Quinn went through the casting process without any assistance because Jen, his wife, told him like, "Do not text him; she will kill you."
And was it Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter was also in the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
she was. I think.
How much is Harley in that?
Quite a bit
because I haven't seen it yet.
I only saw her once. She's one of the people in the farm.
No, she's there quite a lot, but again, she doesn't have all that many lines.
I know the one that gets burned is she was in Scream, the new one.
Yeah. Also the Cruel Summer is fantastic in that. I had to quit watching it; it was stressing me too much.
Is that the Amazon thing?
Yeah, it was really good, but again, it was. It was rather stressful and dealt with a lot of mental health things that I was feeling. I was like,
so anyhow,
I'm going to step away
from this.
Yeah.
So what was I talking? So like I mentioned, like this is actually it's made for $5 million. Like it's not a big expensive film. I mean, Kevin Smith, like I said, he earned the right to make this film. It's like I want to make this film. Like I mean, this is different than Monster Truck, where the president of Panama at that time, he took a pitch from his 5-year-old son. He financed the film for $125 million, and lots of people lost their job. I mean, the father, the president, so many people who work on this film lost their job. All this because a 5-year pitched a bad movie to his father.
And so that was advertised to hell. Like that was on movies, cinemas and buses here. And at least this was like. It came out, I guess, if you know about it.
It actually isn't the right. It came out, I think, about limited release, but it was also in VOD. It was not like the giant thing, but overall, like I said, as a movie, unfortunately, I have to give it an unredeemable score.
What?
It was not actually. It was not an enjoyable film, but like I said, there's some good stuff, but I don't think it was actually a good, perfect film, enjoyable film. I mean, this actually feels like, how can I say, like example? What was the directors who made
like B movies?
The epic movie, but Then the
parody movies.
Yes,
not 18, not those
Friedberg and Seltzer. Friedberg and Seltzer, like Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer, like these two filmmakers, like they do like one of the worst movies of all time. This feels like if Kevin Smith took the script and did a better job with them. Basically, he made Citizen Kane. He took the script, one of the script, and he turned it to Citizen Kane. That's the biggest compliment I can give the film. I mean, look, like I said, that Kevin Smith, like he did everything. He puts his heart and soul in this film.
Yeah.
And it's not for everyone. Like you said, it's not for everyone, Mark. The film was not for me. It's for his teens. Like I said,
it wasn't designed for you,
Yeah.
And actually, is very progressive in a lot of the things that it did, and the fact that you had 2 female leads. You didn't have to necessarily have any. There's a minor romance subplot, but that's very quickly resolved. There's no, getting the guy at the end. It's all, and then there's plenty of conversation. There's a hell of a lot of conversations between women, not about men, etc. So it thoroughly passes the Bechdel test.
But there is a gay joke.
Oh, yeah. The book.
The book, yeah. I was like, no, I'm just saying this. It's not the ultimate progressive thing. Where it's like that's a cheap joke. That's.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also not. It's it's not. Someone doesn't make it at them, and it was a rather easy.
It's a crude joke, but it's I just like to discuss.
High school library.
Yeah, I mean, ours just had dicks everywhere. That was
exactly.
Like I said,
I'm disappointed, Jazz. I knew Andy was just gonna, even though he talked highly.
I mean, we still have Tusk and Jersey Girl. We might end up enjoying them.
Jersey Girl is a thoroughly enjoyable film, in my opinion, and Tusk is a really good horror film.
I mean, we'll have Andy with us if he has to review.
Yeah, but we just have Joe to look,
Joe's the horror expert.
He'll come for. I think he'll talk positively about Tusk, Joe. Yeah. I think. Did he talk about? Does he like Tusk?
I don't think he does.
No, we'll wait to see.
I remember correctly. I don't think he does.
I think he'll respect it enough to not make it really irredeemable. I don't think this is irredeemable. Again, a different level.
Even you said you've not watched this in ages. It's not a film you revisit.
No, but I did. I thoroughly enjoyed my son watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's been some movies like you revisit years later. It's like, man, I have a different opinion on them. And like I said, I don't think this film I saw is not as bad as some other movies like Batman and Robin. That's actually way worse than RoboCop 3. I mean. I'm mentioning it because I'm looking back on the posters. That's what I'm seeing.
It's just downside. This isn't like the worst movie ever. There's just not that much of good to talk about, which is sort of puts it in the middle.
There's loads of really great performances in it. There's good jokes. There's some cool people. There
is very few jokes in this movie.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening and watching this episode of Redemption of the Rotten. We had a great discussion, and some of them, even the way the stuff that we were not meant to talk about. I can't wait to see YouTube demonetize this video.
Just in case, cunt.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining me. So Mark, where can people find you?
At the Indie Boy One on Twitter. Also do a monthly community Zoom, and the next one will be in May, which will be our 2-year anniversary.
Oh yeah,
so lots of fun things surprised for that.
Yeah. How about you, Andy?
I am Andy Mac 9995 on Twitter. You can also find me at Mark Zooms every month. So normally making fun of him because he's old.
Yeah.
There's the quota. Just because I know Yaz mentioned it, I don't want to forget. But yeah, that's where you can find me for just. That's no bullshit.
Where do you play Sea of Thieves?
Oh, you fucking prick. I was going to avoid that because I know I was weird. But yes, I'm similar name on Twitch where I play Sea of Thieves at just no schedule. It just sort of, it just happens, I just
get in there. Awful at it.
I'm awful at everything. Look at this. What if this?
But it's funny awful because he just gets his ass under to every time.
I mean, he's playing Sea of Thieves most of the time. I see him alone. Sometimes he plays with Big Mac, was it?
I play with Mr. Mac,
Mr. Mac,
yeah. We've done a couple off stream because that was my nickname in school. But I'm never truly alone. Most people come for this.
Yeah.
So if you want to come for this hunky man, just gonna.
At least there's someone.
We need to get you the rest of the cast of Firefly behind you.
I mean that I did look. They're really expensive, and some of them you can't get anymore. The best I could find was getting Stanikatic She was like 50 quid. But then asked for the different
You have to put her in a different room.
They're not allowed together.
We should get you know who should get Alan Tudyk's the most important one.
Yeah.
So I'm still convinced I need to get Mark a Kevin Smith one. Just
how would you know he doesn't have a Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob behind him?
He's got everything behind him.
I have.
He's got Bloody Christ.
Yeah, I have. Yes.
I used to have one of those.
As for me, guys, you can find me at MrYazMan300 and on Twitter. For some reason, they suspended my old account, MrYazMan300 on Instagram. And also, as of one last thing, I want everyone to go watch my episode with Murders with Murder.
No,
mostly to get to get more views than Andy and one's episode.
Watch anyone that doesn't involve us three. Go support Melissa or.
Melissa's already higher. She's the highest one. We can't get to her.
Yeah.
That's because she knows what she's doing. Us three just bumble around.
It's like they actually do podcasts.
I mean, you saw his list episode. He got posted from Night Podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, they're talking about Alien. That's a bigger, more famous film than most of our movies.
Yeah, I've still never seen your twos.
Yeah. You should watch. Did you saw Audition or yet?
No, I've been working too many day shifts. I'm working the nights this week though, so I should be able to watch it at some point this week and then watch your episode.
You should guys
watch
it
somehow. Watch your
but
episode.
don't watch any trailer about
Audition.
the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in blind and just.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I'll be worse than this.
Okay. All right, guys. So
I'm sorry. I have one thing to say, just because I've had this joke in ages. I wish I could not see this movie.
Oh, okay. All right. So thanks, guys, for watching and listening. So I hope you guys see you on the next episode. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.